Ashley Parker, I want to look at your piece, especially as it pertains to everything that's going on today. You would think that perhaps Donald Trump or the Republicans could find a place responding to all of this. You're looking at former President Trump's out-of-power agenda, retribution against foes, commanding the spotlight, and total domination of the GOP. While his presence is lasting, for sure, I will say his need to command the spotlight with his website from the desk of Donald Trump, which is some sort of weird scroll/screed of grievances against people based on nothing. And it kind of looks pathetic with him standing doing a lounge act at Mar-a-Lago next to a band whenever he feels like interrupting someone's wedding. But at the same time, there are Republicans who cannot let him go. So his presence is still very much there.
That's exactly right. And he went, you'll remember, to Mar-a-Lago right after he lost, after the January 6th insurrection, when Twitter and Facebook had banned him, when Republicans really wanted nothing to do with him. And it seemed very briefly like, despite everything that he wanted, he was really going to go away. But the reason we took this look at him in this story is because, as you said, sort of as, early 2000s buffering as that website may be, as sort of awkward and small bore him appearing on the Mar-a-Lago patio may be, he really has tremendous influence in this moment over the Republican Party, in part because his fellow Republicans are giving it to him. One of the reasons we're having this vote to oust Liz Cheney is because Donald Trump got involved and it became a debate not about policies, as they like to claim, but about fealty to this president. He's endorsed in certain primaries and helped candidates really shoot to the top. Texas 6 is a good example. And there's that steady stream. It started with Kevin McCarthy shortly after the election. One of the most recent examples was Senator Ted Cruz, who are, journeying down to Mar-a-Lago to kind of kiss his ring, supplicate themselves before him, and tweet out pictures of social media. And in that manner, he has become, I think, as we described in the piece, sort of the president of the Republican states of America, and is really pushing that party to the right and creating an existential debate about what it means to be a Republican. I don't want to say in the post-Trump era, because he's not gone, but in the era of the post-Trump presidency.
So what exactly happened, Ashley? That you can tell? You can't just.
I can't.
You can't make that sound when you see the picture. You can't.
What are they celebrating? The insurrection?
I'm trying to ask a question.
But I'm looking at Ted Cruz and Donald Trump having dinner at Mar-a-Lago.
Listen, why would he not have dinner with a guy who's been so nice to his family?
Are they toasting the
I think he said nice things about his dad in the past. He said nice things about his wife in the past.
So maybe
why
they're
would
toasting
Ted
his
Cruz
little trip
not be there? I don't know. Maybe they both like Cancun. And maybe they just want a cup of coffee. They just want to sit there and talk about how friendly they've been in the past. Anyway,
oof.
All right, I'm going to try to go to Ashley again, because this is an incredible article. Here we go. Ashley, so can you figure out in your timeline, when exactly did Lindsey, who said, I've had enough, I'm getting off of this plane right now, or something like that, and then Kevin McCarthy, who got on the House floor and said Donald Trump is responsible for it. Can you tell me, can you pick an exact time when they went from deciding to be in the Liz Cheney camp to, I'm sorry, there's no polite way to say it, crawling back to Donald Trump politically?
Well, one instance you would have to look at, and I don't know the exact date, but was when Leader McCarthy made that first trip that you have up on the screen right now down to Mar-a-Lago. And that showed he wasn't taking the Leader McConnell approach of, saying, I never want to talk to this man again. I'm maybe not going to go out and publicly criticize him, but I'm just going to try to move the party on. Kevin McCarthy made the calculation that all roads to the majority in 2022 run through Mar-a-Lago. And one detail we put in our story that was fascinating, and I will caveat it, is that some of Trump's top advisors are telling him if McCarthy and Republicans take back the House in 2022, that Donald Trump should not support him for Speaker, should withhold his support, should freeze that race. Now, if they actually win, Donald Trump likes to back a winner. Winning solves a lot of problems. It is hard to imagine a scenario in which Donald Trump does not support Kevin McCarthy for Speaker. But you have someone like Kevin McCarthy, for who his own personal interests is running scared and is terrified of Donald Trump weighing in with a critical statement on that fairly bare bones website that you referenced earlier.
Yeah, and you know, Katty K, Kevin McCarthy also has not been shy about telling people that work with him, that work around him, telling reporters as well off the record that he has no use for Donald Trump. He just understands that Donald Trump is his only ticket back to the speakership. Washington's a really small town, and, well, things get back to Donald Trump.
Yeah, I mean, you have this remarkable situation where we all know that McCarthy doesn't have much time for Donald Trump, McConnell doesn't have much time for Donald Trump, and yet those two most senior Republicans on Capitol Hill are bending over backwards to try and keep Donald Trump happy and it seems try and keep him the leader of the party. And when I listen to Adam Kinzinger say the ship is going down and this is the last gasp of the grand old party, I'm just not sure when it goes down. I mean, Ashley, I'd be really interested to know from your reporting, you've looked backwards to try and kind of look forwards a bit, because is Kinzinger kidding himself that what's the thing, what's the moment, what would be the catalyst that would lead to the Republican Party as the Trump party going down? There just aren't enough moderates, it seems to me, to pull the Republican Party back in another direction. And I just wonder whether Kinzinger's right.
Well, it's a great question. And, you know, look at the Texas 6 special election where Donald Trump endorsed someone who was behind in the early voting, who surged to the front and won that jungle primary. And Kinzinger's preferred candidate, I believe, finished 9th out of 22 candidates. And so I think what Kinzinger is pointing to is it is hard to see that party with Donald Trump going down in 2022 or even maybe 2024. But I think he is referring to, and what he and people like Liz Cheney are worried about, is a more existential concern that what does it mean to be a Republican if you are railing against transgender women in sports, or you are moving the party so far to the right on issues of the border and refugees, and embracing the conspiracy theories, including obviously the dangerous, baseless, false claims that the election was stolen. What does that mean to be a Republican Party? We were talking earlier in the show about trying to negotiate with President Biden. If you did not vote to certify his election results, if you are claiming, as President Trump is, that he is an illegitimate president and an illegitimate leader. That is kind of the way in which the Republican Party can eat itself from the outside in. But it's not that it is going to go down necessarily in one of these particular races where Donald Trump's support can really be a boon for a Republican candidate.
Yeah, especially in these House races. Again, you know, Mika, I've been talking about how the Republican Party since 2016 was going to go down. Well, they certainly didn't in 2016. Had a great night, election night 2016, lost a lot of elections since then. And Donald Trump certainly lost in 2020. But you look at the House races and they did extraordinarily well by any measure. Republicans did 4 years later, after 2016, in 2020, when many of them were actually campaigning on an alternate reality that most of their followers gathered from Facebook. And I mean, you look at vaccine hesitancy, so much of that is fueled by lies on Facebook. And so it is, again, in the short term, you've got a party that may succeed in 2022, but in the long term, it is hard to build a party completely on lies that supporters read on Facebook.
Well, they're doing it. That alternate
certainly
reality.
In the House. And I think we do have to separate the House from the Senate right now as far as you look at what Mitch McConnell said on January the 6th. And yes, he's talking about playing tough with Biden and trying to stop Biden, but at least more Republican senators, other than Ron Johnson and a couple others, are at least reality-based.
Yeah, but the House matters, and the president is up against a party, much of which is kind of in this weird cult that doesn't operate on the basis of truth.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.